We are live.
Good morning. Good morning to the members of the governance committee, staff, and to the citizens who were able to join us today. I would like to keep us on schedule today, and we'll begin calling meeting at 11:02. All right, our announcements. I don't have too many announcements today, but I would like to congratulate Ms. Helen Stone on her re-election along with former board member Chester Ellis. I'm hopeful with all the new officials that public transit in Chatham County will continue to have plenty of support. That will close my announcements for the day. At this time, I do not see any presentations on the agenda. But before we move forward, Ms. Malden, can you confirm if we have any presentations from the group?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
Good morning. How you doing?
All right, we're not expecting any presentations this month.
Oh, all right. Thank you. All right. At this time, I do not see any presentations. So it looks like we have 4 agenda items plus 2, possibly 3 items, depending on a tabled item, additional action items to be added to the agenda for next week that came through email yesterday. I would turn this section over to the CEO so she can provide us with the details on the items listed in section 4. And while Ms. Malden is going through the items, I ask that the committee let us know which items you would like to be removed from the consent agenda. Ms. Malden.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
So item A and B as a companion, well, no, I'm sorry. Item A is the minutes of the regular board meeting, which I think for 10/27/2020. I think that speaks for itself. B are the COVID-19 emergency measures and the CEO measures authority extension that has been a standing item on every month's monthly agenda. And then item D is the legislative advocacy contract award. And if you have any questions about that one, Mr. Stearns is available to answer any questions that you may have about that one. Those are the 4 items that are under section 4.
All right. Did you get those items?
Yes, sir, Chairman. I have them. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, did you want to take the items that came up via email? Do you want to take those under old new business? Or do you want me to add those 2 items?
Let's add those 2 items.
Okay. The 2 items that we're speaking of were sent to the board via email. One is a resolution to reinstate fares effective December 1st. As you know, we have been fareless, I believe, since about March or April. It predated my arrival, but we now have all of the plexiglass safety shields installed in all of our vehicles. All of our vehicles that are paratransit and fixed route. So we have the ability to keep our operators and our customers safely separated. And so we feel now is the time to go ahead and reinstate fares, which would be have a couple of benefits. One, of course, the additional revenue always helps the bottom line. And then there is a measure of security that goes along with the reinstatement of fares. One of the issues that we've had is we've had some issues with the homeless or vagrants kind of riding the bus all day because they can and it's free. And sometimes people who have really essential workers that have needed the space on the bus have not been able to utilize them because of the additional traffic on our vehicles. And so I'm asking the board to pass a resolution allowing us to reinstate the fares December 1st. And then the second one is a contract change order. That is Ray Michelle That is Jeray Williams, who has been serving as the contract CFO. She started working with us back in August when we identified some cash flow issues, and we needed someone to get to the bottom of it, as our CFO had just resigned. And she's been doing an amazing job since then. And we are wanting the board to pass the change order to allow her to continue in her capacity as a financial contract employee to help us with our financial conversions and transitions until we can get a permanent CFO in place.
All right. All right. So do we want to table that? So do we have any more items that we want to be removed from the consent agenda?
Mr. Chairman, which item are you saying was tabled?
I know we had I'm talking in reference to the item at the last meeting.
Oh, okay. Okay. You're talking about items, you're talking about the items that are under 6. I haven't covered those 2 yet.
Oh.
I was just waiting on you to tell me when to go there. I was just covering everything that we knew out of the gate would be potentially on the consent agenda.
All right.
Which would be all of the items under 4, A, B, C, D, and then the 2 items that were added by email on yesterday.
Yes, ma'am.
A quick question. What do we need on the change order for the CFO contract? Is that extending it? Do we have a period of time, or is that a month to month until we hire?
It is a month to month until we hire.
Okay. I hadn't seen it, so I just wanted to confirm. Thanks, guys.
All right. That's all the questions we have. We're going to go to committee chair updates. All right, we're not going to the updates to discuss any updates that the committee chairs may want to cover on behalf of your committees. I'd like to inform the board that I'll be working with the board and staff with rescheduling new dates for the budget amendment work sessions, budget amendment adoption. If there's any concrete dates that will not work, please keep Beverly or myself informed. We're gonna go into old and new business. We have 2 items listed under old and new business. The legal services contract award is a table action item that we'll bring forward next week for the board consideration. Other than that, I'll turn the floor over to the CEO for the TLC and stakeholders update regarding Sunday's service suspension.
Point of order. May I speak, Chairman?
Yes.
All right. So we saying we're going to table that item, or we're going to continue? We're going to actually vote on the item, because if it's going to be foreseen that it's going to be tabled again, then I make the suggestion that we just wait till the first of the year and then just let the new board, or whoever the new board is, to vote on that item. Because if it's going to be a placate where we're going to table it again, like the last meeting, then it makes no sense for us to keep bringing it back up for us to table it. It can remain tabled until you untable it the first of the year. I think that way you'll have your new board members to be able to have any discussion on that item. But that's just my humble opinion. If we want to bring it up and we're going to table it again, it makes no point in purpose to bring it back up and we're going to table it again.
All right. Do we want to take a vote on that?
It's not a point of voting. I mean, if you just, I prefer, I think that, I mean, I'm just asking Clinton, Dietrich, Mike and Chamian too. If it's going to be tabled again, which I'm foreseeing to next week is going to be tabled again, we might as well just go ahead and just table it to the first year and then let those new board members vote on it. Yeah. I mean, and y'all 3 guys, please weigh in on what I'm trying to say.
This is going to be
that has to be done at the board meeting, not in this committee. So
no, I mean, no, it does not. It can remain tabled.
I think it's coming off the table myself.
Okay, do you think it's gonna come off the table? And I'm just putting a point. If it's gonna remain table, I just rather just remain table the first of the year. Deidre, I didn't mean to cut you off, brother.
No, I was with you. I would rather it table to the first of the year because we can't make a decision for people that's coming on and they're not brought up to speed on what we're talking about.
Correct. Clint, you ain't got nothing to say on that? Okay.
All right.
Okay. Mr. Chair, would you like for me to go forward?
Yes.
Okay. So we held a press conference, and I don't have the date, but we held a press conference on Friday, November the 6th, in conjunction with the Savannah Chamber, as well as the Tourism Leadership Council. Special thanks to our chairman, as well as Director Edminster and Commissioner Stone, who were able to come out to the press conference. But we, of course, you are aware, have delayed the suspension of our Sunday service, pending our ability to have all of the interested parties come to the table to talk about solutions for how we can efficiently operate our Sunday service and meet the needs of the greater community. We were delighted to have TLC, as well as the Chamber, as well as the Restaurateurs Association, be represented at that press conference, and we're excited about having them at the table of discussion. Our first meeting is scheduled for Friday, November 20th at 9 a.m. The location is to be determined. We're waiting to see we're going between Cat Central and possibly even the Convention Center. But I will update the board as soon as we have a location confirmed for that meeting. But we look forward to having the business community, the tourism community, the restaurateurs join us at the table. And I certainly invite any board members that would like to participate in those discussions to please come and join us. And as we, I think, have a monumental moment in our history of just being able to sit down and talk with those particular entities. So it's really a great thing, and we're excited about it. And I'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Chairman. I think you're on mute.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Mulder. I see Ms. Odell hands up.
No, I took it down. I'm good, but thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. We'll move right on along. We're going to go into our next meeting will be held on next week.
I have some new business.
We got some new business?
Yeah, I think we had talked about having an executive session at the next board meeting to discuss personnel.
Yes.
So we would need to add that.
All right.
And I'd also like to get copies of the audit sent out to all the board members so we can start reviewing that, because the meetings come up December 1st. We're going to jump in there right after the holidays, and it's a very short month in December. So if we can get that presentation done to the current board in December, that would be great. And then we can start moving to the amended budget and then on to the next new budget, because all that has to be done by June. So I think an audit first, then the amended, and then the new budget in that order.
All right. We have that, Beverly?
Yes, sir. I have it.
Chairman Cody, I have something to add too.
Yes, sir.
As usual in best practices in previous administrations and conversations, anytime a letter that was addressed to the board anonymously was always presented at board meeting. And I think that letter that we talked about, I guess, via email with several board members, that needs to be discussed at the meeting as well. So we can be transparent as far as our conversation. I saw that an email came from you in reference to a listing of different things we're asking our CEO to comply on. Yes. And I think those things need to be brought up in board meetings, not via email in between board meetings. And so I felt that was fairly given to her, as far as that's concerned, and I want to discuss that at the board meeting about how we're asking for questions. I'm in the middle of my conversation. I'm in the middle of my conversation. I think that any unfair or any kind of ramifications or requests needs to be brought before the whole board in front of public, not in an email directly from you to her. And I yield the floor for any discussion that wants to be made on that.
Okay, well, the last board meeting, it was brought up, it was discussed, it was requested. I know it was requested. It's in another email on October 26th because it was requested. And David called us individually to discuss the request. So I don't think it was blindsided, hidden, or done just by email. Now, one of the last board meeting, you were in and out because you were at 2 meetings at the same time. So perhaps you missed when it was requested.
Understood.
Thank you.
Clinton, you're on mute.
All right, great. I would also agree that I think that sending out requests for information through an email is probably just fine. I think it's kind of, we may want to have a discussion in the future about the scope of how much information we're asking for. My main problem really was with number 6. I think that was not a request for information, that was a direction. And I think that was definitely an overstep of what we can ask for in an email or maybe even at all. So I kind of agree with both of you on that. But
okay, so nobody had a problem requesting this information when we got it from Curtis. What's the problem now?
Nobody has a problem now.
I don't have a problem. I just said a lot of requests we gave of Curtis, we never got replies either.
So we just supposed to not continue to not get it? I mean, listen, if it's that big of a problem, it is public information. We can just do a freedom of information request.
Have a problem with that either. I don't have a problem with the information being given, but I just understand that some of that language and all those items on that request that I saw email wise was not requested in the last meeting.
I got Micah Holleran.
Yes, it was. Yeah. We need Beverly to check the tape.
That's fine.
Yeah, just as, I was chairman for a year. I think we set up the protocol where board members emailed the chairman who would direct the CEO to provide the information when available from the staff. Putting dates on it, I kind of laid away from that because until I talked to the departments and the people who would have to prepare the information, I couldn't always give them a specific deadline. But I think that movement of data between the board, the chairman, to the CEO should be maintained. If we have requests, we should send them to him. We get requests at every committee meeting that gets sent. There's a lot of requests, and I think the two heads of the board and the organization need to be on the same page with the requests, and I think that's a concept we should consider continuing.
I agree.
Because, well, the email,
but it now has gone to Cody, so he has authorized it to be released. So I think we can just go ahead with that.
Right. Ms. Odell, you had something?
Yes. I mean, I just don't understand what the pushback is. It's been requested since last month. They're basically copies and reports. They reconcile every month. Somebody explained to me what the big difficulty is in fulfilling the request.
I don't feel it's a difficulty. I think it's an oddity, if anything. But I think if Ms. Mulder can fulfill the request. But I'm
so is it your position that the board doesn't have the right to audit?
No,
well, you're getting two things confused. I think it's
confused about what?
Nobody's saying we don't want or deserve or have not even deserved. Like, this is our information.
I agree.
When I sent that email, I was not entirely aware of the timeline. And so that's why I was kind of like, okay, maybe we can give these folks a couple days. But Director Cody called me, brought me up to speed. Nobody is against having the information. It is, at the end of the day, everybody's information. I think just the timing of when it gets, now that's something that we could work on for sure. Not when it gets, but you know what I mean. How long it takes.
What are we saying the proposed timing is? Because we asked for it last month. So what's the now timeline?
I think, Cody, we can ask Ms. Molden
Yes.
if it's a feasible timeline for her to be able to amend the request, I guess. I'm just at all ends while we're doing the request, but it is what it is. I mean, I'm not even gonna fight it no more.
All right, Mrs. Molden, you want to add anything to that?
Sure. According to our discussions, we are going to work diligently to try to have everything together by Monday, at the earliest Monday, at the latest Friday of next week. As the board is aware, my husband is undergoing a procedure and I am scheduled to go home to be with him during that procedure. An attestation was attached to the email that requires my signature, which then means I would have to attest to everything that is produced. And so I want to be sure, given the circumstances of my husband's illness, that I have the opportunity to go through what the staff has put together in order to be able to attest to it. And that is the reason for the delay.
Well, can't you, I'm sorry, I'm raising my hand.
Hello, Ms. Odell.
Can't you just designate an employee to do that? You've got the COO and the CAO. This should not be something that interferes with you being at home with your husband. It's not that,
well, my question to the chair is, are you asking me to attest to the documents as requested in the request? Because if you are,
I think the idea of the attestation is for each person that provides the information to attest that it's accurate and valuable. I don't think that this request should be something that interferes with your obligation to your family. It's a document request.
However, it is still a legal document.
But they all are. They always are.
Cody, may I speak?
Jay, yes.
All right. I understand that you can, and me personally, if I'm in Ms. Molden's position, I understand that if it's my organization at heart, my livelihood at heart, I'm going to sign off on any documentation, attestation or not, because at the end of the day, the CEO is the one responsible person for the organization. Now, some people may want to give that duty to somebody else. Me, in my position, if I'm the CEO, I wouldn't want to give that duty to anybody else. But that's just my humble opinion.
Well, this is 2020. Why don't we just FedEx it to her? Let us sign, FedEx the documents to her. Let us sign the attestation after she reviews them and FedEx them back. I mean, y'all, this is not as big as it's turning out to be. I'm really dumbfounded. It's a document request of documents that are readily available. It's a matter of running a report and printing copies.
I'm particularly dumbfounded we're even asking for the request. I mean, but
well, I'm not really sure why you're that dumbfounded. If you ask me what I want to know, I'll tell you. It ain't that difficult. The documents, the information.
I think it's more to it, but I just leave.
Well, what do you think is to it? What exactly do you think is more to it?
Cody, you got the floor. I'm not even gonna say nothing no more, man.
Yeah.
If you want to know, I mean, what else could there be except the request of information?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, may I please say something?
Yes, Ms. Molden.
I want everyone on the board as well as the public to know, and I'm going to remove my mask for just a second, that we are going to provide the information that has been requested. We have no issue with providing the information that has been requested. We understand that this is a public agency and that you're board members of that public agency. And so I just want to publicly say we have no issue. I just want to be sure that I'm fulfilling the legal obligation that I've been entrusted to fill through that attestation. And again, you are absolutely right, Commissioner Odell. They can FedEx the documents to me. I can review them and FedEx them back. But the original deadline was the 11th. We won't be able to have it done by the 11th. At the earliest, we'll be able to have it done by Monday, but at the latest, we'll have it done by next Friday. But please don't think that we don't want to respond to the request, because we do.
Well, thank you. I'm really not sure why the other members feel as though it is something else. It's just a request for information. It's a request that we've made of previous administrations. It's just general data. It's nothing. There's nothing else behind it except wanting to know the information.
I understand, Commissioner, and please know we will do everything that we can do to comply with your request.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, with that being said, Jay, you have something? All right. With that being said, do we want to set a date for this?
I'll propose the date Picard mentioned, which would be between
Monday
and Friday.
Yes. All right, let's set that date for tentatively Wednesday of next week. Can we get that down, Ms. Dumas?
Wednesday of next week.
Yeah.
I have it.
Actually, I think there's some information that it's simple print. I mean, things like the vendor payments, that's on board reports every month. That should be easy to get out right away. The contract to the vendors, there's only 3 or 4. And the third request, we know who all the people are, who names of the people who are filling the positions. We're just looking for their salaries, which should be of record. I don't think Friday's asking too much. I would like to have it before the board meeting, before I go into executive session and discuss some of the personnel matters. If I get it Wednesday, I don't know what I have no questions I can ask about it.
All right.
I think, Mr. Chairman.
And we asked for it over 2 weeks ago, and it was 5 board members who asked.
Mr. Chairman, I think that the question was asked and answered. I mean, we can only get the time frame that she gives us. And if I can address the elephant in the room, I mean, is this a witch hunt, or are we trying to find some information to really give out to the community? Because I mean, the email came, and the tardiness of the email that I have an issue with, but
my hand is up.
And I wanted to make sure that we're giving the right information out and not making the public or the employees think that there's something really going on in the background. I want to move forward in this fourth quarter to make sure that when we move forward in January that we have everything in place.
Ms. Odell?
First of all, I'm gonna really need an explanation as to witch hunt, because I don't know what that is. Second of all, the request was made over 2 weeks ago by 5 board members. The only people that are making it seem as though it's something nefarious are all of you that are putting up the roadblocks to getting the information. I have absolutely no idea why everybody is so pressed about copies of documents that are readily available. What do you mean by witch hunt?
What I mean by witch hunt is ask directly what we're looking for. And I think that that the CEO or Chairman Cody or whomever, CFO, can give you that information. I'm not trying to be hostile about it. I just want to make sure that we are being above board and we're doing our jobs to make sure that we give the right information out and not making our leadership look that we are all dysfunctional. You know, what are we looking for? What do we want? Say it. Let's put it out on the table, find it, get it. Let's move forward.
I'm not being hostile. I have a deep voice. So if it comes off that way, I apologize. First of all, what I'm looking for, what the other 4 board members are looking for, is the list that was requested. There's no hidden agenda. How could it be hidden if it's specifically outlined on paper? What is the hidden? I don't really understand what you're asking. What is it that you think we're looking for besides that information?
I don't know, but I understand that you have a deep voice or what have you, but I'm just saying it just seems the way it's coming across as it's aggression. But we really want it. We want it, and want to make sure that we have everything we had before we make a decision in executive session. As Mr. O'Halloran said, let's just do it in the mind frame of let's get it done. Okay, not forcing it down our throat or making it seem as if to the public that we are a dysfunctional group, because I know everybody is enthused and trying to make sure that CAT is at its top form as we are moving forward. So we're gonna have to do it together.
What's making it look dysfunctional is all of y'all pushing back on information that 5 board members requested over 2 weeks ago.
I'm not in the y'all. I'm not in the y'all. I'm just a board member.
Okay, I'm sorry. Your pushback and Commissioner Jones's pushback. The information was requested correctly. It went to the chairman. 4 other board members said, yes, I'd like it as well. 5 board members requested it over 2 weeks ago. Ever since it's been requested, periodically, there's a why you want it, what you need it for. Is it a witch hunt? If anybody is making anything look nefarious, it's the fact that it appears that board members don't want us to have certain information. I don't understand. This is regular, general information that is available. It's all public information. I don't see why a request can't be made to the chairman and the request be passed down to the CEO and staff responds.
Mr. Chairman,
if you are taking my tone of voice as aggression, I apologize. I'm certainly not being aggressive. I'm certainly don't run around committing witch hunts. I don't have time for witch hunts. Yeah. All of us have jobs and we're doing something. Who has personal agendas to go out on witch hunts?
Mr. Cody, if I may, I think we already have finalized this conversation. I would say
we had Ms. Mulder's hands up first. Did you want to?
I'll yield to Mr. Edminster.
Yeah, Mr. It's on you.
I think we all know what we need to do. Let's. I'm fine with you and Ms. Malden figuring out a good date sometime early next week. And I would just request that item number 6 be removed from the requests, as I think that's out of what we can do. Other than that, I'm good.
All right.
Are we going to address Mike's request to have it before the board?
Yeah. And in light of Dr. O'Halloran, I did want to request this information by Monday, so we will have time to go over this information. So we will need this to do the best we can to get this information by Monday. In light of our board meeting Tuesday.
We will happily and cheerfully comply with your requests by Monday, and we will send all the documentation to all of the board members.
Thank you, ma'am.
No, thank you.
And I just want to add, hope everything goes well with your husband. I'm glad you can get home to be with him. The only reason I asked for Monday, because I don't want you to have to come running back to worry about paperwork that's due Wednesday. Your husband's surgery is on Tuesday. You're going to be busy for the rest of the week. So even if David has to sign off on it as acting CEO, I'm fine with that. I trust him just as I do you. But we wish your husband all the best on the surgery.
Thank you.
Thank you. I want to say the same to you, Ms. Malden, and you have a safe trip. In light of what we spoke on today, I'm glad we all got a chance to get our feelings on the table about what the requested information that we are seeking. So that being said, our next meeting will be held next week, Tuesday, November the 17th and December the 1st. Meeting invites will go out to everyone today. And if we don't have any other business in hand, this meeting is now adjourned.
When is that meeting?
It's November the 17th, and then you have December the 1st.
10 a.m. on the 17th?
Yes.
Hey, Clinton, didn't you have something you wanted to bring up today from your committee? You said you would bring it up at governments, but I don't remember when you said that. Since you didn't have your regular committee meeting?
I think it was about the relationship and working on the relationship between the TLC and the hospitality industry. All I would add is that I would encourage all of us to make it out to the meeting that Ms. Malden was talking about, where we will all be sitting or joining the table to talk about future route updates and how that affects the hospitality industry. When were those dates again, actually?
The 17th at 10 a.m. and your regular committee's on December 1st.
No, the dates.
Oh, the other
for
meeting.
Yeah.
Never mind.
The hospitality meeting.
It's on November 20th at 9 a.m. and the location to be determined. We'll be updating everyone on where that meeting will take place.
November 20th, 9 a.m.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you can, I would encourage everybody to make that. This is a very, very interesting and cool opportunity for us. So let's see what we can do.
Will it be streamed or is it a live event only?
It's a live event only, depending on where we're able to have it.
Okay.
We may be able to have it streamed. We will definitely make every effort to do that, as we recognize
All right.
everybody can't
Sound-
always be present.
Sounds good. All right, I know we're actually adjourned, so have a good day, everyone. I'm gonna unmute my
Thank you.
Bye, y'all. Thank
Have
you.
a good one.